Dear colleagues, to pass these disciplines, you have to fulfill and to create the next practical tasks. First of all, you have to do practical task number 1, identification of project participants. First task here is determination of project name. You have to determine the project name. Just enter the project name on the title page. For example, you can create some project for your educational institution. You can name any project. For example, it can be a creation of new educational program in your institution. Second, you have to identify the project participant. So, identifying the main participants of the project by compiling the scheme 1.1 project participants. In the scheme, you have to specify the organizational units, their individuals or legal participants that are involved in the project. You have the scheme and you have to fulfill the project manager. You have to create profession, for example, of according to organizational structure in your educational institution, and project team, responsible person, which can be chosen also from organizational structure of your educational institution. Then you have to analyze all other participants or stakeholders of your project. Maybe you won't have some of them. For example, you may not have some authorities or licensors if you don't need them. But try to analyze as more stakeholders as possible. Then, practical task number 2, determination of project objectives. So you have to fulfill next tasks. First, to determine the project objectives, you have to identify the main objectives of the project. And the project objectives can be represented, for example, as a scheme 2.1 project objectives, or can be designed as a simple list as you wish. So you can create project objectives of 2 levels. For each project objective of first level, you have to create at least 2 project objectives of second level. Next, task is determination of criteria to achieve the project objectives. You have to determine the criteria for achieving the project objectives, filling in the table 2.1 criteria for achieving project objectives. As you can see, you have an example of this table. Third task, according to practical task number 2, is determination of project limitation. You have to identify the main project limitations, factors upon which is precisely known that they will limit their execution. For example, the budget limitation, legislation, customer culture, etc. Fourth, determination of the project assumptions. Identify the basic assumptions of the project, factors upon which it is assumed that they will act during project runtime. And at last, practical task number 3, determination of project scope. First, determination of the final results of a project. Determine what will be the end result of a project. Second, formulation of the high-level requirement to the final results of the project. Create a list of high-level requirements to the final result of the project, filling in the table 3.1, the list of high-level requirements to the final result of the project. And you also can see the example of this table. 3. A decomposition of the final result of a project. Make a partition of the final product of the project into separate components. 4th, instruction. Partitioning the final product of the project must be presented in the form of a scheme. The example of a scheme you can also see on a slide. And fifth, assessment of the need to partition the project into sub-projects. Assess the need for partition the project into sub-project on a scheme and fulfill it. You will have all these tasks in a format of Word for MS Office. To create and to fulfill all these tasks, you can use a computer and you can use templates that will be sent on your email. Thank you for your attention, dear colleagues. Goodbye.